Mike! Hey man, how are you? Well, hey everybody. This is a Boucher. I get to play this for a couple days. So, I'll keep playing it for a couple minutes until people jump in. And then we'll get started on some freaking hot takes. I also have, I got a fisheye lens, which it's obnoxious. It's kind of crazy how close I can get to the camera. So I have a fisheye. It's crazy. It's catching the light up here, that's literally like 180 degrees. Anyway, I'll change to a 24 millimeter here in a minute. Jose, hello, Jeff Squires. Fret Level Midnight, that is a freaking good name. Fret Level Midnight. Let me put this down. That is a Boucher HG56, right? Yeah, it's a HG56. 12 fret. I feel like I can come really close because of this crazy fisheye. I'm going to change this lens. Hang on 1 second. Don't freak out. I'll be right back. Can you still hear me? I think you can still hear me. Oh boy. Sensor exposed to open air. And boom. Okay. Making sure everything's okay. Everything's good. Philip, I got you. Hang on, let me put this lens cap on. I'll show you this lens before I move away. So I've kind of wanted, ever since being into skateboarding, I've kind of wanted a fisheye lens, because look at that thing. It's just bonkers. So it doesn't even, like, the glass element on the front is curved, and so you can't put like a regular lens cap. I guess all of them are curved, but this one's so curved. So anyway, there's a lens cap like that. I just got this yesterday, and I love it. It's cool and ridiculous, and I want to use it in certain ways because guitars are particularly hard to photograph. I think you all know that. Also, speaking of giant, I don't know, segue from there to here. This is my giant, it's from the Global Wildlife Center in Louisiana. This place is a couple thousand acres, and they have like thousands of like gazelle and deer and buffalo and giraffe. It's pretty crazy. So anyway, someone needs the YouTube name Rod Truss. Oh, that's good. That's a good one too. Yeah. So I'm setting up differently. I'm just sitting in a chair. We're just hanging. I'll scooch back a little bit so I'm not as close. Rusty Strings is good. I like Billy Strings. That's such a great name. Is that his actual name, Billy Strings? Does anybody know? That'd be cool. James Duncan, Sip. Jose, I forget it's morning for you. You're all the way that way. You're like 3,000 miles out of way. But anyway, I'm glad that you guys are here. Was that thumbnail too much? Was it ridiculous? I made it because of that fisheye lens. And just, it's dumb. And it's good. And it gets me. I'm going to close this guitar. So these Bouchers, these hair Bouchers, they are on loan on the intermediate. I get to play them for a couple days, make a couple videos on them, and then they get sent off to Rick Tallman with Tallman Music. And I'm very, very thankful. If you're familiar with Tallman Music, they're so great. And so I'm just very thankful for them that they would let me borrow these guitars. So anyway, if you're looking for a Boucher, they're a great dealer in the U.S. For them. These guitars are astounding. Yeah, it's been a long time since one has just, like, the guitar company has just blown my mind in a way that I thought only Huss and Dalton could. Or like really, really premier guitars. So, yeah, no, Billy Strings is not his real name. That makes sense. It's interesting when you meet, like when you hear people's like celebrity names, whatever. But anyway, Jonathan Miller from Kansas City, Missouri. My grandpa was from Missouri. And, I forget what town. But anyway, cool. How's everybody's week? What are you guys up to? Anything new? Exciting? Let me close. I just unplugged. I'm always scattered starting these shows. But this week I was like, I got it, I'm good. And I ran a couple errands. And then all of a sudden I was like, hey, it's 1:35. And I ran back and I had to get stuff together. But it seems like it worked out and people made it in here. Evan, that's right. We're gonna get into some hot takes, and I would love. I want some juicy good ones. Like while we're going, there were some good ones that came in through Instagram, and we'll open it up. I have a lot I want to cover because there's so much cool stuff going on. So let me start with announcements. I'll come over here. I'll get fancy. All right, so we've seen this. So much of my face. Now, if I move over here, I've got the announcement. So, I want to talk about garage progress. A new video went out today that brings us up basically to last Saturday. The garage, as of last Saturday, we did everything, painted the door, painted everything inside, got it all set, and then the only thing left was to do the air conditioning. So the air conditioning got wrapped up this week. And there's a video, I just finished editing it, and I exported it today. Haven't put it up yet. It'll go up for patrons. If you want to see videos early, if you want to support the channel, become a patron. So patreon.com/guitarhunter. And so even at the $3, you get to see videos. Typically, you're going to see them 4 or 5 days. Sometimes you will always get to see them early. Some days you'll get them. If you see this and you're like, oh, wow, Jeremy's doing great. That's a good thing. I filmed like a maniac this week. I filmed 3, let's see. I did a Capo shootout. That's going to be really cool. I did a video on these Bouchers. I started a video on another guitar. I got a Walden, a B1E, another baritone acoustic that is really cool. That's actually the first video that I shot in the garage, in the studio out there. Because somebody, I think it was Craig, one of my patrons. Maybe it was Jose. Jose, I think it was you actually. Jose said that I should, before I like fill it with stuff and get rid of the echo, I should like lean into the echo and the reverb. So I took this baritone in there and it just sang like a monster. It was so great. Not like a monster. Sang like a deep, sonorous, I don't know. But it sounded really cool. And so anyway, it was really fun. And what other announcements? I'm going to give away 2 shirts with 2 trivia questions. I have to keep that in mind. I forgot last week. I'm sorry. But I'll give away 2 shirts, and then I'll give away 2 bags of coffee. So that means I have to come up with 4 questions, which means in the back of my mind, from now until the time we do it, I'm going to be thinking of things that I say and think and do, and you should too. So hang around to the end. You'll get a chance. There's a pretty good chance. You know, it's like 4 in... Usually it's a couple hundred people that watch these. So anyway, yeah. So, all right. Other announcements. Guitars for sale. I have a Taylor 412 that is magical, and I want somebody to buy it. It's on my website. I'm not using reverb still, and so it's on my website. I'll post more pictures of it. It's a truly great guitar if you are looking for small guitar with a big voice with a lot of low end out of a small body. It's a 96. So anyway, that's a great guitar. It's right over here. That's for sale if you want. Oh, I also shot that Avian video. Now that I see that over here. Yeah, I think I shot 5 videos this week. And then you also count our last garage video. So I did 7 videos this week. That's the most I have ever done. This is the hardest I've ever worked in my life, but it's super fun and I love it. And I literally can't do it without you guys. So I'm very, 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 very thankful for your support and for you guys watching. What else is for sale? I need to sell my 52 reissue. This one that I put the Migas Touch pickups in. I need to sell it because I need to keep that money moving. I also have a D18E that will be for sale here soon. So if you want a 2020, a very clean, very nice D18 that is like ready to go, full on professional. So right now I'm shooting one video with it. So it just came to me a little dry. And so I'm just tracking the humidity, and I'm trying to get it up to get a little more moisture into it, because it's just a little buzzy. So anyway, do I have a video of you playing the Taylor? You can link. I do. Let's see how quickly I can get this. Okay. I don't want you to watch it right now. Don't leave now. But if you'll buy it, I want to sell it. I'm torn. I'm conflicted. All right, let me find it real quick. Taylor, YouTube. So I'm basically just Googling this. All right, there it is. Copy link address. Come back over here to the chat. And there it is. So there's the video for the Taylor, if you're curious about that. Nope. Get out of here. Ah! What have I done? Clicked over to Premiere. Okay. All right. Chaos. Okay. Yeah, new stuff this week. I got a Walden. What else did I get? Oh, there's a guitar that I'm giving away. Let's talk about this real quick. A subscriber, Chris Moon, great guitar player. He's into shreddy, metal-y stuff. He has a guitar that belonged to his dad. It's an early 60s Gibson LGO. It's a beautiful, great bluesy sounding guitar, and we are going to give it away for free to a subscriber of my YouTube channel. And so the details are coming. It just showed up yesterday. I haven't opened it yet, but the plan is through, this channel is about music and friendship. So the basic idea so far, and more details and clarified details to come. The basic details for now are that I'm going to, we're going to ask people to submit nominations of people who just need to own a great guitar, who are already a great bluesy fingerstyle acoustic player, and this would just equip them to take what they're doing to the next level. And so I want it to be recommendations of friends. And I also want videos of people playing. So we need to figure out the details, but that is coming. It's going to be very, very cool. So I'm humbled. It's an amazing thing that's happening. All right. So with all that said, let's jump into freaking hot takes. So hot takes. Let's jump in. Evan had a great one. Evan had, yeah. Fret Level Midnight says, so me. Yeah, absolutely. So I'll let you know details to come. Gosh, that name is so good. Okay. Let's go to some hot takes. Evan says, hot take, the TS9 is still the best overdrive. I agree. It's definitely up there. If you don't like a tube screamer, who doesn't like a tube screamer? Tube screamers sound awesome. Hang on, let me turn this off. Yeah. Tube screamers are wonderful. They're super cool. And yes, they have a mid push, but that's cool because the frequency that guitar lives in best is the mids. And so if you want to be heard, if you want to jump out over the mix, over a band, you will do really well to, you'll just do really, really well to have a tube screamer. TS9 is awesome. I think the Bonsai from JHS, if you want a tube screamer, if you want every tube screamer, the Bonsai is amazing. It's astounding value for the money. And if not, I mean, there's so many cool tube screamers. I really like the Herculean. I have one of those over there on the shelf. Also the TS Mini, that's just like $50-$60 is so good. So if you want just a good, I mean, that's like the basic tenets of a board for me. Pedal boards for me must have a volume pedal, must have a tuner, must have an overdrive. And then if you want modulation or reverb or delay, toss those later on down the signal. But that's awesome. So anyway, Fret Level Midnight asked if I ever played Dean Electrics. I have. I've played a couple. They're not particularly remarkable to me. I don't really remember. I know I have played them. I don't remember that I played them, which means I don't like them. Yes. But yeah, they're usually pretty awesome. And, they're pretty easily moddable. Pickups and pots and all that stuff. What do I think about the Cusack Screamer? I don't know. I haven't played one. You love stacking the Apex 808, the Maxon Apex 808, and the DoD 250. That's a good duo. To me, the DoD 250 just like, it feels like alt rock, especially when you really get the gain going, gets real fuzzy almost. It just feels very late 90s, and I'm totally into it. All right, let me jump in. So as you have hot takes and you want to hear my perspective on acoustic guitars, electric guitars, guitar pedals, guitar gear, we'll jump through it. And then at the end, or the second half, we're going to jump into rating some gear. So I had people send in stuff through Instagram to review gear. So, all right, hot takes. Should have brought a mouse with me over here. Oh, and I can't see them. They're so tiny. I have to lean in. Is it sustainable producing guitars today? Is it better to buy expensive or economic ones? So the hot take right now is that Brazilian rosewood is not worth the hype. Even East Indian rosewood, it's not a magical, like, it by itself does not make a great guitar. So the hot take is Tonewoods and acoustic guitars. We've been subject to a lot of marketing, particularly around Brazilian rosewood and then like red spruce and those kinds of things. Now, there is a difference, but it's not nearly as like powerful and poignant. So is it better to buy, because it's basically, this question's kind of, is it better to buy new or used? And the reality is it unethical to like build new guitars is basically the question. So, no, it's not. It is unethical to, so like East Indian rosewood is starting to wane, particularly on fingerboards. The sites, the legislation that's stopped the exportation of rosewood from India and Sri Lanka and a couple other countries. And it makes it more complicated to get certain species of wood across borders. So you start seeing new materials like Palfero, which is that Guild Jumbo. It's upstairs right now because that thing is a freaking winner. That Guild baritone, the 8-string baritone, is so cool. It has a Palfero fingerboard and bridge, and that's the first guitar that I've spent any long amount of time around. And the thing is, I didn't even notice, like I called it rosewood in the video. It wasn't until later that I'd read the spec sheet, and I was like, oh, wow, that's Palfero. So anyway, yeah, I don't think there's any real issue. Yeah, I had a good conversation with Zach Broyles from Mythos Pedals yesterday about the ethics of buying and production in China, production in Asia, in communist countries versus capitalistic societies, and it's tricky. Like, I mean, we have to, like, you can't paint with a broad brush, and so we have to hold these things we have to hold these things, each of them independently, and look at them in particular. And so anyway, oh boy, why did you stop? Oh, I love this. So this is a great question. Who is this from? T-Funk. T-Funk says gloss versus satin, acoustic and electric. Gloss versus satin. Okay, so my hot take on this is I prefer gloss finishes on pretty much everything. I just think they're cooler. I think they feel better. I think they last longer. So the best time to have a satin finish is on the back of a neck. That's good. It's very smooth. It's very quick. Gloss finishes can be sticky, but usually that's not my experience. I really like gloss finishes on the back of necks. The time I really, really don't like satin finishes is on the top of acoustic guitars. Because if you grew up like me, if you grew up in the church, around like worship music where, older worship leaders that had Martins, typically they would have like the Rhodes series, like a D1R, DC1E, any of those. And basically with those, you'd eventually see them, or a 15 series, where their arm has been playing for years. All of a sudden, it's just they have this one bright, shiny patch where their arm is, and then everything else is still pretty satin. So, yeah, my hot take is it's a luxury. It doesn't bother me, but for my preference, I probably will not buy many guitars that are, which is interesting because I got that M20, that Guild, that's a satin top. The originals were much more gloss. These were much more satin, but it's also just the manufacturing process. But anyway, all right, I'll jump over here and answer a question. Fix Your Guitar just pulled the trigger, bought a 2020 Les Paul Jr. Hey-o! That's awesome. Good job. Hot take. Locking tuners are better than regular tuners for tuning stability. Boo! No, I don't agree at all. I think locking tuners are a total gimmick. Have a guitar that doesn't stay in tune. Put locking tuners on it. You will still have a guitar that does not stay in tune. Because there's so many things. The main thing is your saddles, your bridge, how your strings are seated in the bridge, compared to then on the other end is the nut. If you have string trees and then you have tuners. So like of all the places for strings to wiggle and move and get out of tune, I doubt it is on the headstock. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good spicy response. Yeah. So hot take, locking tuners. Never hurts to have a nice guitar. Blah, 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 blah. Jeremy, what's your opinion on aluminum and brass parts on electrics? Aluminum and brass. Like for nut material, like brass nuts, they're okay. They don't bother me. Brass in banjos makes them sound wonderful. That's the mark of a proper banjo, is having a brass tone ring. So that's not bad. Aluminum parts. So aluminum is tricky because aluminum oxidizes. Like you and I, none of us, no human being other than people who live in a vacuum, literally, have ever seen actual aluminum. We see aluminum oxide. And so it just doesn't age super gracefully, but I really like polished aluminum, but it's a lot of maintenance. So I don't know what other parts you would see that are aluminum on guitars. Hot take. What's the finish on an Iris and a Waterloo? Satin or gloss? It depends. My Waterloo right here. My Waterloo it's a semi-gloss top, and then it's satin back inside. It doesn't look very different on the camera there, but it's quite shiny, and then kind of shiny. And then this neck is interesting because it really has like worn to. It started out as satin. This guitar is so freaking good. Anyway, I love this guitar. So these are satin on the back and sides and then gloss on the top. That's like the guitar that has surprised me most in my life. Like a guitar that I just never thought that I would hang on to that hard. Okay. Locking tuners are for faster string changes. Yep. Okay, yeah, fret level. Yes. Sorry, didn't mean to come at you. But yeah, they do make string changing much faster. So that's interesting. There are many reasons why you would want, but it's also like, I mean, does it really take that long to restring a guitar? Do you really break a string that often? Like, if you're breaking strings that often, locking tuners to me feel like a good solution to a problem that most people shouldn't have. A guitar that doesn't stay in tune, a guitar that breaks strings all the time. Like, you have to keep pulling that thread and see where the problems are coming from. Oh, like you play way too hard with your right hand because you use too thin of a pick. Use a thicker pick, back off a little bit. Don't be, stop being a Neanderthal. Okay. What else? Daniel Nadeem said, I'm so happy to be with you live. Yeah, man, me too. Glad you're here. Cheers from Philadelphia, Philly. Are you a Geno's or a Pat's man? Your video about the Gibson Lucille was very helpful as a fellow Lucille owner. That's awesome. That Lucille is over there. It's in a box, and it is getting shipped to the Netherlands on Monday. That's another thing that happened this week is I'm selling the signed Lucille. So that's very cool. Really, really cool. So, So, Philip, little girl just woke up. Gotta go. Peace. Yeah, I think my little boy just woke up. Or if me yelling in the basement about guitars will probably wake him up. Roller bridges are terrible. Hate the one on my 335. Yeah. Oh, man. Yes, roller bridges are terrible. The other ones that are awful are the... I had a Gretsch with one. The Gretsch with the knurled saddles that have a groove in the middle, but then they can all move. If you want a guitar that will just stress you out, like every string change, like don't touch it. Do not let any of them move because it's also a pretty aggressive thread. So you'd get to where like your strings are bunched up. And, you know, I think more StewMac string gauge, those little string gauge card things, I think more of those have been sold because of that kind of setup where you can just really make a guitar wonky and terrible. Guitar Lust Euphoria, help me. About to return my second Gibson acoustic. Are you just overly picky or are they actually bad? Because I've owned a bunch of Gibsons and I just haven't had that issue. But Dominic in Germany, he bought a Dove or a Hummingbird Pro and literally one of the braces fell out and came out of the sound hole. Like one of the long X braces, which is bonkers. Like I don't know how that happens. I would say hot take, Gibson's quality isn't that bad, but it is, you know, anyway. Yep. Hot take. Gold tops and Les Paul Customs are better than bursts. Here's a better hot take. Bursts aren't actually that amazing in themselves. I've played 4 or 5 real bursts, and given Les Pauls in general are not my thing, but I've played 3 or 4 bursts, and they're all okay. They're fine. Like, one was amazing. But anyway. So, yeah, I don't think. So for me, I think a much better guitar. I think Les Paul Customs, even from the late 70s into the 80s, also because I just love Randy Rhoads. I think those Les Paul Customs are so good and so fun. And then recently, since like 2001, 2002, Gibson has been better, in my opinion, than the old ones. So, yeah, I think there's just so much peer pressure to think that a burst is this thing. And if you had that thing, you would be the right player and you'd be this guitar hero. And, you know, it's just so much justification for the cost. So anyway, you're not missing out if you don't own a burst. All right, next one. Hot take. Oh, this one's good. So this is Billy. Billy's trying to pick a fight. So, hot take. Nash is better than Fender Custom Shop. No, I don't think so. Now, I did just sell, Billy just bought my Nash, which is, there are layers. There are layers to this. I really like Nash. I was really, really impressed with the T52, the heavy Relic. The finish was awesome. The Relic was like realistic and good looking. Now, the only thing that I think that Nash does that isn't nearly as good as Fender Custom Shop is that Nash doesn't use, and there's probably some licensing stuff, but they don't use like proper full-on Fender parts. They'll use like all parts and that kind of thing. So the like the hardware just isn't the same quality. Now the pickups are, and the pots, they're all in that component. They all are amazing. The other thing is a lot of Nashes get plecked before they get sent out. And so yeah, I really like them, but I have a couple hang-ups. But overall, I'm super, like, the one that I had played amazing. It was so good. And also, it's funny, so Billy and I traded, so his my T52 Nash went to him, and this 52 reissue came to me. And so that was a good deal for both of us. I like this one more than that, and he likes that one more than this one. So it worked out great. Martin OM42 is the other day was the best guitar I've ever played. I believe it. That's a great guitar. They're a little too ornate for me, but I mean, an OM is such a great size. The rosewood is such a great tone wood for that body shape. The more yellow gold color finish on the front of it, man, what's not to like? That's a really great setup. That's really cool. Andrew says Evertune Bridge. Evertune Bridge, they're okay. If you are a player who bends a lot, or you're running around, you're doing a bunch, like I saw the dude from what's that band? They sound like Strike Anywhere. They're super popular. They're from Chicago. Rise Against. Rise Against, that dude, he puts them on his Les Pauls. And the reason he does is because he's running around stage, and he said that he's like always pulling stuff out of pitch. And so this helps to balance out all of that tension. So it is a very specific solution for a problem I think most people don't have. But they are cool. It's a cool kind of way of innovating in the guitar space, especially in the heavy music space. Years ago, my friend Jeff, right, maybe 3 years ago, I have a video on it from way long ago, and it's Jeff, who has the most amazing beard you've ever seen. It's like a beard up to his eyeballs. He brought his Evertune for me to check out and set up. And it was really fun. I learned a bunch about them then, and they're really amazing. They're really fun to intonate, and they were a really ingenuitive thing. So, hot take, they're worth it. Hey, thanks for there's a live chat. So, Fret Level Midnight says, you play any Godin or affiliated companies, acoustics or electrics? Which brands, models, and thoughts? I've played a bunch of Godins, a bunch of Seagulls, and they're just not my thing. The Seagull neck is what I don't like. And I hope that there are other guitars that don't have that like steep U shape. Because I love cedar tops. I love cherry back and sides. But yeah, they're just not quite my thing. So, Raphael, sorry, I saw this. I'm trying to get there. Billy String's name is William Apostle. That's cool. Billy Strings, that works. We're not far off. So, have I tried Rockbridge guitars? Yes, I have. I've known Brian Calhoun for a long time. I first met him in like 2005. So I've played a bunch of his guitars. I haven't played as many in the last couple of years. We've been trying to get together. I just got my first shot. A couple weeks ago. I'll get my second shot soon. He's getting his second shot soon. So in the next couple weeks, the plan is for me to go over to Charlottesville, hang out with him, and see some of his guitars. I almost bought one of his guitars used a long time ago, but it had another guy's name inlaid on it, and that like threw me off. I was like, do I want a guitar that says Brian on it? So I didn't buy it. So let me jump back in here to these questions. So other hot takes. Relic Guitars. Love them, hate them. I think that most Relics look bad, and they don't look real. I think there's a deeper, and I've been meaning, I don't know how to formulate my thoughts into a clear and concise statement. I think that there's a problem. There's a problem wanting to look like someone who's played guitar for 40 years. And maybe we don't want to look like that. Like, no one wants to look like Keith Richards, but they want to play a guitar that looks like Keith Richards. And both have been worn and used hard for a long time, disrespected. And abused. So overall, like, Relics are okay. The thing that gets me, like, I struggle with new guitars that are made to look really old. I struggled with that for a long time. Like the Collings, the aged Collings, when those first came out, I just thought they were so dumb. The guitars are great, but I just think that process and like making a guitar where like the guitar didn't exist before 2012. And all of a sudden it's made to look like it's from the 50s or the 60s. So it's not totally my thing. I know, yeah. Okay, so I will say Simon and Patrick and Arts and Luthery. Sorry, I'm jumping back to the comments over here. Or the chat. So I like those a lot. A friend of mine has an Arts and Luthery, or Simon and Patrick, a tiny little parlor. It's like a 2 size. So it's very, very small. And it's just really sweet and plays really well. And it comes with an amazing TKL case. So I'm in. I think those are super cool. I like those a lot. So let's talk about acoustic guitars that are Relic. They were really bad at first, and now they're pretty good. Like Huss and Dalton, I haven't seen them. Maybe that's the thing I should do next time I go down. There are a million things I should do next time I see them. But their aged guitars look, oh my gosh, there's a bee in here. Well, be cool, Jeremy. Be cool. Oh, that's a big one. He went through the hole. There's like a hole in the wall. Ah! Okay, anyway. So aged acoustic guitars, Huss and Dalton, they look really great. I do think, like, I would live with forever one of the aged D18 Authentics from Martin. Like, Carter usually has a couple of them. I would buy one of those in a heartbeat. I just think they're awesome. Like, they just look killer. They're super cool. And that's the thing is, like, it's a new guitar, so you could mentally, like, I can play that everywhere I would play a normal guitar, which I'm not typically that, like, careful with my guitars, or I'm not that, like, I will take my Huss and Dalton into the woods on a camping trip. I'll be really careful with it while I'm there, but I'm still going to use it because I wouldn't take my D41. But you get what I'm saying. Hot take on, so this one just came in the chat. This is a great one. Hot take on acoustic guitar body sizes. Don't get a dreadnought. Like, look at the people that are playing. Dreadnoughts are usually too big and a little too uncomfortable for most players. I think a hot take would be check out an OM from Martin or a Triple O. Sheesh. One of my favorite guitars I've ever owned from Martin was a Triple O 18V. No. It was an OM 18V. It was awesome. Had a giant V-shaped neck. Had the long scale. Everything about that guitar was just loud and cool and fun and beautiful. And dreadnoughts are probably not the right guitar for most guitar players. Do you play any cheap acoustics? Yes. So I've had two orange woods. Now, given I've had the Oliver and then I've had the Hudson with a torrefied top. So that one's $695. But both of those have been really great. I've taken a turn. So for a while, I just had lots of guitar brands wanting to send me, like, Harley Benton, like, here's our best acoustic guitar for $200. I think after this Glary over here, I was just traumatized, like, with how bad that Glary Telecaster is. So anyway, I'm taking a break. Let me see. Let's keep jumping through here. Hot takes on alternative woods. Brazilian rosewood. Hot take. Brazilian rosewood is not what it's cracked up to be. It is not the thing that will fix all of your problems, make you a better player, make people love you, get you a record deal, make you feel like you're an accomplished artist, musician, creative. It's just not the thing. The best alternative tone woods. I think the best tone wood for acoustic guitars is cherry on the back and sides. And then red spruce. I really like red spruce. I like Adirondack spruce. To me, that is a powerful duo. My favorite, my first Martin, and I still think it's the most value under $2,000 new from Martin, is the SWD GT or the SWOM GT, the SWAMGT, which is the sustainable wood. So they're doing two things. One, they're using sustainably harvested cherry as the back and sides, and then they're also using sustainably harvested or salvaged wood that was headed to paper mills. These big spruce trees, instead of letting them go to the paper mill, they end up getting them and taking them to the lumber yard, cutting them into guitar tops. So I love it. My friend Jessie, I gave her that guitar probably 10 years ago now, almost 10 years ago. I gave Jessie that guitar, so she's now owned it longer than I did. But it's a wonderful guitar. I also talked about that Waterloo. It's cherry back and sides. So yeah, other tone woods that are amazing. Walnut is wonderful. The J15, I don't understand. I'm done trying to figure out why Gibson does what Gibson does. But the J15 that I had a couple months ago, my friend Tristan bought that. And it's walnut back and sides, and it sounds so good. Now, most of guitar tone actually comes from the top and how the top is braced. And I think, so what's his name? Brian Calhoun? Brian at Righteous Guitars? Ben Calhoun at Righteous. So he uses the analogy that if you're comparing a speaker cone, like a speaker, to an acoustic guitar box, you have the cone material is the top, and oh boy, what's the back and sides? The back and sides are the magnet. Yeah, so it's the speaker cone and then the magnet. And so, like, the magnet changes, it like colors tone, but it doesn't really drastically change it. But anyway, have I tried, Ryan? Hey, buddy. Have I tried the new Blonde Tone Masters? I haven't. I think they're very similar. I think they don't have the bright cap switch, the bright cap mod, because these are basically like the modern circuit. They're not like the traditional circuit. Yeah, I'll see if I can get one. That'd be fun. And you're here in town, so we can do it. But anyway, relics with the finish sanded on the front doesn't make sense to me. Like you drag the shark across the concrete. Yeah, that's the thing is, I always feel like you see these relics and be like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. But if you went to buy that guitar used from the person who did that to it, you'd be like, what the heck is wrong with you? Like, why would you abuse this guitar so badly? Why are you so bad at owning a guitar? Do you not ever put it in the case? Do you not ever put it in the trailer? You just drag it behind. Yeah, so anyway. Oh, getting worked up. Let me see. Electric guitar tone wood doesn't matter. Yeah, we're kind of getting there. Oh, man. I think that this is almost completely true. No. Oh, boy. I think that electric guitar tone wood has much less impact than we think it does, or we've been told that it does. But I have two examples where I'm like, tone wood really matters. So one, years ago, my friend Mark was learning how to build electric guitars. He invited me to come to his shop and cut out a body out of black walnut. And he's like, whatever you make, you can keep. And so I ended up getting a black walnut body from Mark. And it was so cool. And I hung on to that for a long time. It took me a long time to build. I had it painted. I did it sonic blue. Did a rosewood neck. Should have done a maple neck. And it was my first guitar that I built myself. Like from a block of wood. I cut it out on the bandsaw. Used the jigs. I routed it out. Did all this. But it was black walnut. It was incredibly dense. When you knocked on it, it was such a high pitch. Like this high... not sweet like a bell tone, just like high and kind of shrill when you knock on it. So it was very dense, very fragile. And we finished it, and I put Seymour Duncan... No, they were the Fender. They were the Fender 52s, just like standard, because I worked for a Fender dealer. So that's the pickups I put in there first. And we like set it up. I was like, what is wrong with this guitar? It is so trebly. There's no bite to it. There's no mids. It's just shrill and ice picky. And it was not pleasant to listen to at all. And so I then tried. I was like, okay, maybe those pickups are just real extreme. I'm going to try. So that's the first time I ever owned Seymour Duncan Antiquities. I put some Antiquity 2s in there. And it was so shrill and so ridiculous and just couldn't, like, yeah. So I eventually just, like, by process of elimination, like, I knew those pickups, like the Fender pickups in an Ash Telecaster sound awesome. But then you put the same ones with the same pots into a walnut body and it sounds terrible and shrill and harsh. So that's one experience I had. The other experience is... one of my favorite guitar builders is in Louisiana, and it's Melanson Guitars from Thibodaux, Louisiana. And so this guy makes Melanson guitars out of sugar pine. So it's like wood that he gets out of the swamps. It's really light. It's really light. It's like paper white. And then he like does his whole thing and makes Telecasters. And it is like the sweetest sounding, most resonant, bell-like, just pleasant to play. It's also super light. So anyway, so all of that to say, like, I want to believe this is true. Like when someone says, I can hear that this has stainless steel frets, I think, BS. There's no way. Or when someone says, I can tell that this guitar is dry. I'm like, no, you can't. You saw it with your eyes, and then your eyes went to your brain told your ears to hear something different, or to confirm a thing you already thought. So, anyway, okay. Maple versus rosewood for fingerboards. Maple versus mahogany for neck. For me, Drew. So for me, my preference is maple fingerboards. I just think they look cooler. I don't think they change the tone. Rosewood, I like the look of it. Depends on the guitar. I also like real sapwood, like brown, like mixy brown colors, some waves, like those how do you pronounce it? Sonocan guitars that the guy's making in Canada. He's making one for Joey Landreth right now with Cocobolo fingerboard, and it's just beautiful, like texture and flame and stuff. So anyway, okay, let me jump over here. Have I ever played a Goya acoustic? I have, long time ago. They're not super remarkable, in my opinion. Sigma guitars in the U.S. are never that interesting to me. There must be, I think modern Sigmas are much bigger in Europe and other markets, and they're made by Aria, which Aria makes great guitars. Aria made, I think, has some connection to Avian guitars. That's speculation. I have no clue. I don't actually know. Oh boy, I had to get my computer charger. Hang on one sec. All right, I have to think of trivia questions here in a minute. We also have to run through some gear reviews. I gotta rate some gear. Rating some gear. At the top of my head. All right, let's rate some gear. Billy! This is freaking Billy's setup, and this is a good setup. He sent me a mix of these. I forgot to look at the specs. I'll see what I can remember. Look at that thing. So, right. Oh, this is hard. Right there. That is a Guild S100. Super cool. I like the red on this. I also like the middle pickup, the middle humbucker, which makes it super like mellow and sweet. This would be a fun like singer-songwriter guitar. You could almost use this guitar more like an acoustic guitar or an ES-125 with a neck pickup. Like, it's going to be mellow and sweet. It's not going to be overly bitey, but it's still, Anyway, it reminds me kind of what were the others? The 135s? An ES-135 that would have a P90 in the middle. I think that's really cool. The other ones that he has over there, as I break my brain trying to figure this out, what is this, a 61 Jazzmaster and a 60 or 59 Strat? Those are super cool. No, it's a 64 Strat. Still pre-CBS. Those are both awesome. And Billy comes from a long line of just amazing guitar buyers, dealers. And so Billy, good work. He might be in here. He usually is on the live show. So, yes, it's the 330s as well. Elliot, thank you. Yeah, so the 330s. And oh, fret level. Man. So I have a video about the Classic 20. It's my favorite old PV amp. The little combos, I love them. I think they're so good. Now, I do have the new PV Classic 20 mini head with a 112 cabinet. PV did send me that. And they made it because I made like a video. It wasn't a blast per se, but it was me just saying like, what the heck? Like, why don't you make cool stuff anymore? Why don't you make stuff in the US? Why'd you bail? Like that kind of video. So you can go watch it. It's old. It's filmed right there when there was still a wall right where I'm sitting. But anyway, definitely worth checking out. Billy, amazing. Like, this is such a strong setup. The only thing I would say, and I know you have it, I just don't see it here. The only thing that I think is missing from this setup would be like a bitey Telecaster bridge pickup. But you've got the P90 and the SG, and the SG Special. Sorry, that's a Junior. Okay, this is basically a perfect setup. I would give this a 9.1. It is so cool. I would love to see a hollow body. I'd love to see, like, I just love covering all bases. That is so cool. Oh, freaking Sam Copeland. This is, so we reviewed, he has 2 guitars before that. No, that's somebody else. That's Blake. But Sam he lives close to me here in Virginia, and he sent me pictures of this. So this is a this is a WX14. Oh boy, I forget. I think this one is X-braced. It may be ladder braced, but this is beautiful. And we're talking about Relic Guitars. This guitar, to me, is just like perfectly, thoughtfully aged. It looks old. It could be from the 1930s. It doesn't seem obnoxious. Now, it does feel like somebody would have had a really heavy right hand, especially on the upstroke, especially for it to come this way over the sound hole rather than going up, because normally, I don't know. It just, yeah. It's not quite believable wear, but it's very cool, and it's subtle. And yeah, it doesn't seem like overt or crazy to me. So this is, I mean, I'm late to the game on Waterloos, but I love mine. I play mine every day. It is not going anywhere. I would sell many other guitars before I would ever sell this one. But so this is like super cool for me. Yeah, I'd be so into this. I think this one's also a 14 fret, I think, from the pictures. It's tiny for me to see. Somebody else look. But this is, I would give this one a 9.2. Man, we're coming out swinging. People aren't sending me any, sending me some of those Dean acoustics. Oh, so this is Chris. This is Rashad. So, Rashad's, this is an AD17. This is, what did you call this? Go to my messages. All right. That is a 324E. So that's super cool. I love the bridge on these. Good Lord, it's not a B. It's a fly. That's the biggest fly I've ever seen in my life. Holy moly. It's like a giant fly. Anyway, so Chris's guitar is so cool. Looks like a mahogany top. Yeah, it's a mahogany top as well. This has the V-class bracing. This is a really, really great guitar. I think this is like Taylor has turned a corner into like proper new direction of guitars. They sound different. They sound better. They play better. They last longer. They're just very cool. They're also really sustainably. That's the biggest fly I've ever seen in my life. Yeah, they're just. I heard its wings as it flew by. But yeah, Chris, this is awesome. So 8.8 on this guy. I think it's very cool. I don't love the dark sunburst. That's the only thing that's not quite my thing. Oh, Blake. So we already reviewed Blake. He has an L00? He has a Gibson L00. He has a J45, I think. And this is the Martin side of his life. So this is a D16 and a D20, an HD28. And this is just such a good duo. This will give you so many tones. The D16 is just, they're monsters, and they can stand so firmly on their own feet. Most people, you don't ever need to get a 28, like a good 16, and you are freaking cooking. So, anyway, so if you want to send in pictures, it's through my Instagram or it's through my website. I didn't announce it on YouTube. I should. I'm sorry. I'm trying to get to where I'm better at including people and when I do like stories and posts on YouTube. But you can send me pictures through Instagram at Jeremy the Guitar Hunter. You can send me DMs and I check up to the last minute. And then I know it. And then so James, here's one. He says, I know it's last minute, but what are your thoughts on cherry as a tone wood? I'm thinking that I literally just answered this question, which is great. Cherry is a monster tone wood. To me, it is the wood that most guitars should be moving to. That or walnut. Especially if we're going to keep guitar production in the U.S., let's use woods that grow really well and sustainably and ethically here in the States. So, yep. Yeah, need a bug zapper. How do people send the pictures? Your defense is... You're the best. No defense needed. Okay. Blake, this is a killer duo. I'm going to give this one a 9.0. I know flat scores are rookie scores, but a 9.0. They're very similar. That's my only issue. But I guess this is more like an 18 and a 28. But they're very similar. If it was like a 0016, 0018, and an HD 28, that's my strategy. My style is typically find two opposite, and you can like learn how to play into the middle, where it's like I can make a 00 sound bigger. I can make a D28 sound smaller. That's awesome. Hey, we're back to the beginning. All right. Well, 2 minutes left in the hour. We're going to be a couple minutes over because we still have other things to do. The biggest thing we have is I have to think of 4 trivia questions because we're going to do 2 t-shirts and 2 bags of coffee. And but remember, it is on you. When you win, you have to send me a message through my website or you have to send me a message on Instagram. And when you do, tell me what you won and the t-shirt size and color. Or coffee, you don't get it. Yeah, anyway. All right, let me think of trivia questions. Have I seen the new J45 12 string? Seems awesome. Yep, I've seen it. I'm very cool. Cedar top guitars, love them. Love the Taylor 714 with a cedar top and rosewood back and sides. That's my favorite combination of tone woods for a Taylor. Love it. Yeah, absolutely. What else? Okay, so, just picked up, Claire, brown rose Tolex. Send me a picture of that fret level. Because I've owned 3 of the classic 20s. They've all been tweed, just like a pretty normal PV tweed. But, okay. Yes, isn't this cup ridiculous? This is my giant cup. The weird part is that this cup, so this is like Global Wildlife Center in Louisiana. So it's like kind of close to Mississippi. It's this place, it's a couple thousand acres, and they have like giraffe and deer and like no predators, but like thousands of crazy animals. And so there is a very real chance that a giraffe or a buffalo has eaten out of this cup. And now I washed it and I'm just using it to drink Coke on a Friday afternoon. God. Do you guys see that? It's a giant fly. Okay. I'm going to stop talking about the fly. But anyway, okay. I think I've got a couple questions lined up. Oh, let me think back to the beginning. Hang on. I'll look through here real quick. Turn that off. Turn that on over here. Look through here. Trivia question number 1. What was the model of Nash guitar that I traded to Billy Nix? Do you remember? So this first one is for a t-shirt. We'll do t-shirt, coffee, t-shirt, coffee. Probably need to get a piece of paper to write this down so I'll remember. Yeah, fret level midnight, got it. T52. So send me a message through Instagram or my web page. Go to the website. That's easiest for me. Fill out the form on the website, the Let's Talk form, and then make sure you tell me what size t-shirt you want and what color. All right. Photo sent. Boom. Nailed it. Okay. Question number 2. What was the tone wood that I used in a Telecaster that did not work well at all? This is for a bag of coffee. Who's going to get it? Wasn't ash. It was a telly that my friend had a wood shop. He let me make. Came over to his place. We built a guitar out of this. Mike Pinion got it. Walnut. All right, Mike. Go to my website. Send me the form with your info, your address and info, and then I'll send you a bag of coffee. Congrats! Mike Pinion. Yeah. Still like Rod Truss. I feel like someone should stake their claim. Yes. I'm in for a pun. Always. Okay. Gotta get another question. I'm gonna go through over here and remind myself of what I've said earlier. What kind of finish do I really not like on the tops of acoustic guitars? This is for a t-shirt. So, I'll say that again. There's a kind of finish on the top of some acoustic guitars that I really don't like. Hey, Jeff Squires got it. Right? Let me double check. I wasn't looking. Yeah, Jeff Squires got it. So, Jeff Squires. Yep. So, Jeff, you want a bag of coffee? Or no, you want a t-shirt. So, or do you already have a shirt? I feel like if you don't, send me a message through the website if you want a t-shirt or coffee. Poly for sound, nitro for health. Oh, perfect. Thanks, Fred. All right. I got to come up with one more question. Gotta think. Oh, at the very beginning of this show, I showed one guitar that I'm borrowing from a manufacturer. What's the manufacturer? What's the guitar I played at the very beginning of the show? Wonder if people can like skip all the way back and then come back to the front. So Cameron, what is my favorite dream vintage guitar? Mid 50s, late 50s Gibson Country and Western. I just think it's so cool. Natural top, split trapezoid inlays. Jeff is 2 for 2. All right, Jeff, looks like you're getting a t-shirt and a bag of coffee. Jeff wanted that one as well. All right. It was Boucher. So, yeah, Boucher. Boucher. They're amazing. They're from Canada. They're from Quebec. These guitars were literally finished last week, and then they came to me real quick. So, that is awesome. Super fun. So, that is about it for this show. The only things left to do, if you won... So Cameron, Country Western over the Sunburst J50. So you can get the Southern Jumbo, which is the same guitar as a Country and Western, but it has a Sunburst like a J45. J50s and J45s are the same guitar, but J50s are natural top. So anyway, yes, fret level. That's literally what I've thought every time. And I made it through the whole video making the video without a single Adam Sandler reference or a single GIF popping up in the background. So Jeff lives in Canada. All right. Ready, set, go. Next 2 people to say they want a t-shirt or a bag of coffee, get it. Thank you, Jeff. Who wants it? Cameron, ZC, Daniel, Nadeem, Zach. Zach and Sean. All right. Zach and Sean, go to the website. Send me your info. T-shirt, coffee. So Mike got one. So Mike, you got coffee. Fret Level, you got a T-shirt. And then the last two are Canadians everywhere. Okay, Zach, did you get it? I don't mind sending it to Canada, so that's okay. All right, all of you. You guys are great. Lots of Canadians. Jeff R., you'll take one. All right. Well, this has been super fun. Closing announcements. This video does not happen without my patrons. So thanks to all my Ride or Die patrons. Adam, Andy, Jose, Tom, Craig. Who else? There's so many. Jose. I think I have 8 Ride or Die patrons. I have like probably 40 patrons overall. It is the easiest way to support me. And then you also get cool videos early. You get, like, I lean on my patrons a lot to help make helpful content for guitar players. So anyway, but all right, well, whoever wants stuff and whoever won stuff, send me emails and we'll get in touch. Please, somebody buy my Taylor 412, so that I can keep buying cool guitars. Somebody else, if you want my not a T52, if you want my 52 reissue with the Migas Touch pickups, it's a monster. Sounds awesome, plays great. Let me know, we'll work a deal. I want 1600 on that, but we'll figure it out. So, anyway, thanks for watching. This has been super fun. I feel like I'm forgetting something. The garage renovation is going great. Watch the video that came out today. If you want to support that, in the description of that video, there is a donation link so that you can, you can donate to offset some of the cost of rehabbing that garage. I always feel weird. People are really generous, and I'm amazed by that. That was led by patrons and just by really great friends. So anyway, have a great weekend. Send everything to me. And next time, if you want to do the Rate My Gear, send it to me. So you can also send it to Jeremy at jeremysheppard.com. That's SHEPPARD. That's my email address. There's a bunch of ways you can get stuff to me. Facebook, LinkedIn. Find me on LinkedIn. Send me pictures. That'd be cool. Anyway, hope you guys are great. Have a great weekend. This is super fun. And these are hot takes on guitar stuff. So, all right, have fun. I'll see you later.